All right, family and friends, welcome to another edition of the Reimagine You Lab podcast. And as usual, you know, this is the third Friday of the month. And we've got Dr. Joyce, who is going to be with us today, bringing insights and guidance and helpful information to us. And before we jump in, just want to say, if you have not already, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Share this with friends and family. As a matter of fact, today's particular episode was spawned by or inspired by someone who was who had a major surgery recently. And her and Dr. Joyce had a conversation about the choice of oils that she was eating. And so we're going to learn something new today. So this is an episode that you won't want to miss. Don't forget to hit that bell so you can be a subscriber. And every Friday, you'll get notification of when the show comes on. So with that, Dr. Joyce, how are you today?
Oh, I'm blessed and highly favored. And thank you so much for inviting me back to the show.
Absolutely. Anytime and every time, Dr. Joyce, it's good to have you in the lab. So we'll always like to start with the disclaimer that just says, Dr. Joyce, listen, I'll let you go through the disclaimer for our listening audience.
So the information that is provided on this show is for educational and inspirational purposes only, and not to make a diagnosis or to treat. However, I do recommend that you do visit your friendly healthcare provider and, most importantly, seek the great physician, Jesus Christ.
Amen. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Dr. Joyce, with this particular episode, we're talking about avoiding those bad fats, how to keep them out of the diet. Is that right?
Yes. And the reason why we want to avoid bad fats, although we do need fat, the body does need fat for energy, but we want to avoid bad fats because of the heart. And so heart health depends on good fats. And most of these fats that we're going to be talking about, they are plant-based oils containing unsaturated fats. And the unsaturated fats include polyunsaturated fat and monounsaturated fat. And so the thing that you want to remember is unsaturated fats. And so when we look at wisdom words, again, we're going back to Genesis 1:29. In the New King James Version, God said, "See, I have given you every herb, vegetable that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. To you it shall be for food."
I love it. Listen, we can never go wrong with the word of God. And starting there is a good place to start. So we're talking about these bad fats or these good fats that we need to include. So Dr. Joyce, go ahead and just like kick us off so that we know what we're looking for.
Okay.
Right?
So when we're looking for heart healthy fats, we're looking, number one, we want to make sure that we see USDA organic and non-GMO verified with the little butterfly logo. So that's what you want to look for on the very front of the oil container. And if you don't mind, if you just go get your oil container now, and you can sort of follow along with us, because we will be looking at nutrition facts labels on your oil container, and every oil container should contain or should have on it a nutrition facts label. And we're going to also be reading the ingredients list, which is under the nutrition facts label. And the other thing, under the ingredient list, you will see whether or not it contains bioengineered ingredients. And this is something that we definitely want to keep out of the diet, because anytime you see bioengineered ingredients, you are dealing with GMO, genetically modified ingredients in your food. So we want to make sure we keep bioengineered ingredients out of our oils.
Yes, yeah.
So this is what we'll be looking for on the front of the oil container. You want to see non-GMO verified, that little logo with the little butterfly. Usually it's going to be a little colorful butterfly, but it might be in black and white. And then you want to see the sign that says USDA, which stands for United States Department of Agriculture Organic, meaning that it comes from the soil. It's not a pond, it's not hydroponic, but it's actually being grown in the soil, in the ground of the earth.
Nice. You know what? And sometimes people don't realize that. I'm glad that you explained that it's coming from the soil and not hydroponic. So no, that's good. That's good. So looks like we've got our first label is here. I'm gonna go get my bottle of olive oil.
Hey, wonderful. And everyone else, go get your container of oil that you use for cooking or you use as a dressing or sauce, because we're going to find out in looking at these oils, and there's going to be 5 oils that I will be talking about, that some of them are for sauteing and only like for dressing on a salad, and then the other oils or 1 or 2 of the other oils you'll be able to use a high temperature when cooking. So that makes a big difference, the oil, and whether or not you're using a high temperature or just using this oil for sauteing and for dressing, salad dressing.
Okay. So which ones are you? Well, and I guess you'll get into it. So
Okay. I will.
Okay. You tell me where are we looking at this label? Are we?
Yes.
We're looking at their labels. Okay.
So you're going to look at the nutrition facts label on your oil container. Okay. And when you look at this, what you're looking at for healthy hot oil, you're going to be looking at total fat. So the total fat here is 14 grams. Mm-hmm. And under the total fat, you're going to have saturated fat, and then you're going to have the unsaturated fat. Now, remember what we just said, that with healthy hard fat oils, you're going to have more unsaturated fat than saturated fat. So here you see 2 grams of saturated fat, and then you have the polyunsaturated fat, 2 grams, and then mono unsaturated fat. We're looking for the unsaturated fat for heart healthy oils. And so if you add up the polyunsaturated with the mono unsaturated, you have a total of 10 grams of fat. You should never have trans fat. Trans fat should always be 0. And we're going to talk about trans fat a little later. And you never want cholesterol. But even though cholesterol is not considered a part of the total fat, you do not want cholesterol as a part of heart healthy fat. So saturated fat should always be less than 2.5 grams of saturated fat in your total fat. And you want more unsaturated fat, which will include polyunsaturated and mono unsaturated fat. And when you look at the ingredients, the only thing you want to see is the name of your oil. So if you have avocado oil, it just should be avocado oil. If it's olive oil, it should be only olive oil.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I see what you're saying here. Like this one has like just extra virgin olive oil. And even my bottle the ingredients is organic extra virgin olive oil. Very
good. Organic extra virgin olive oil. That's good. That's healthy. Now, a lot of times with the olive oil, you won't see anything but saturated fat. But if you look here, it has a total fat of 14 grams. It has saturated fat 2.5 grams. So you want to always keep the saturated fat less than 2.5 grams, because you know that your unsaturated fat in this case will probably be 11.5. So if you add up 11.5 grams of unsaturated fat, that's your healthy fat. That's what you want, more unsaturated fat, less saturated fat. And so the total fat will be 14 grams. And no cholesterol and no trans fat. Definitely 0 grams of trans fat.
Yes. Okay, that's good.
And this is another oil. This is certified organic flaxseed oil. So when you look at the ingredients, it's only the certified organic flaxseed oil. And if you look at the total fat, you have 14 grams, saturated fat, 1 gram. Great. Now, your unsaturated fat. You have polyunsaturated fat of 9 grams and monounsaturated fat of 2.5 grams. So when you add those together, you have a total of 14 grams. Now, in this, you also have omega-3, which is a heart-healthy fat. So you have your omega-3 fat, you have omega-6, and you have omega-9. But the important thing that we're looking at is the fat that's in these heart-healthy oils, which should always be more unsaturated fat, your polyunsaturated, your monounsaturated, versus your sat fat. Your sat fat in your oil should be less than 2.5 grams.
Okay. No, that's good info. Good info. Now, is Dr. Joyce, I'm going to let you, I've got a question.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, is all saturated fat bad, or is that a myth?
All saturated fat, like we have here, we have a small amount of saturated fat. So as long as that's saturated, you're keeping that saturated fat less than 2.5 grams. When it gets up to 10 grams, and there are plant-based oils that have high saturated fats, like coconut oil and palm oil, and we're going to talk a little bit about them later. And the way you can distinguish saturated fats from unsaturated fat is at a room temperature. At a low room temperature, saturated fat will actually become firm or solid.
Okay.
So whenever you see oil does, you know that you have more saturated fat in your oil, and you don't want that because that's bad for the heart. It's not heart healthy. So usually with unsaturated fats, even if you place them in the refrigerator, they will not become firm or solid because they're unsaturated fat.
Okay. Good.
So these are the heart healthy plant-based oils that contain good fats, your unsaturated fats. And we just mentioned there are 2, polyunsaturated fat and monounsaturated fat. And then you have what's called omega-3 fatty acids. And so this is another heart healthy fat, omega-3 fatty acids. Okay, so the first oil that we're going to look at is olive oil. Now, olive oil is an ancient oil. It has been around before Jesus Christ walked the earth. So it has been on the earth for more than 5,000 years. The olive trees, they are considered prosperity. They're considered a blessing. And they're also considered healthy. So with olive oil, it protects your DNA, your genes, as well as your heart. So whenever you're getting protection of your DNA and your genes, then that means that your heart and the other organs are being protected as well. So what makes, we found out with olive oil, what protects the heart is the unsaturated fat. What protects your DNA will be the antioxidants. And remember, we talked about antioxidants as being the good guys, vitamin A, and that A would be beta carotene, like you find into organic carrots, and then vitamin C and vitamin E. Those vitamins are considered antioxidants. So in addition to fats, this olive oil, which is the virgin, we're talking about the extra virgin olive oil, and it's sometimes referred to as EVOO, extra virgin olive oil. What they do is they press the olives, cold press the olives to get the oil from the olives. And in addition to cold pressing the olives, they are also unrefined. So they are leaving a bit of the fruit of the olive in the oil. And so it's that small portion of the fruit from the olive itself that contains the antioxidants. And these are also called polyphenols. So they're antioxidants, they're anti-inflammatory, meaning that it protects our genes, it protects our DNA. And with the cholesterol, what the unsaturated fats do is they lower your bad cholesterols by increasing your good cholesterols. Now, your good cholesterols will be your high density lipoproteins. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But that's what the good fats, the unsaturated fats do. They raise your high density lipoprotein, which is called the good cholesterol. And what it does, it absorbs the bad, the low density lipoproteins, transport them to the liver, and the liver flushes the bad, the low density lipoproteins out of the body. So that way it helps to prevent heart disease and stroke. Also, there's a nutrient, one of the polyphenols, which is a bit of the fruit. So you want unrefined extra virgin olive oil that also helps to prevent cancer. Many kinds of types of cancer, like esophageal cancer, laryngeal cancer, which is of the throat, and pharyngeal cancer, which is of the throat, also ovarian cancer, breast cancer, because these nutrients, these polyphenols that's found in the fruit itself, actually suppress the genes that causes cancer. So God is He's amazing. Not only does it protect your heart, but it helps to prevent cancer. It helps to prevent dementia. And the other thing that it does is it helps to decrease fat cells. And this is all coming from extra virgin olive oil. The one thing, though, you have to remember with extra virgin olive oil, it is sensitive to high heat. So you're cooking, when you use this, you're sauteing, you're using very low heat. A lot of people will just add this to their sauces or use it as a dressing. So they realize that if you use it as a dressing, say for instance, 3 to 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil will help to keep your heart healthy. It will protect your genes. It will help to prevent ovarian cancer, breast cancer, a lot of the digestive system cancers, and it will also prevent fat cells. And we know fat is related to inflammation, and inflammation causes all types of diseases.
Everything. Yeah. You know what I was going to ask, Dr. Joyce, and you said it, but 3 to 4 tablespoons.
Yes.
Is that a day?
Yes.
Daily. 3 to 4 tablespoons daily.
And research and data has proven that. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, hey, this is a cheat code and a healthy hack. Get you some olive oil.
Yes.
Get you some extra virgin olive oil and use it, whether you put it in your dressings or sauces or what have you. Even if you just take it in a tablespoon, and just take it each day, it can be a proactive way for you to reduce the risk or any of these things that Dr. Joyce just talked about.
Yes.
Yeah. You got a cheat code right now. Like extra virgin olive oil can make a difference in your body and in your life. All right, Dr. Joyce, I'm telling you, I love it when you come on. You always give us something good.
Thank you. To God be the glory.
To God be the glory.
Yes. Now, this is another amazing oil, and this is avocado oil. And the amazing thing about avocado oil is that you can use high heat when cooking this oil. So you can grill, you can fry, you can saute, you can boil, and even you can bake using olive oil, because it will add that richness and that moisture to your cooking, to your baking, to making your cakes or cupcakes or cookies or whatever. So this avocado oil is, I may have said olive, but we're talking about avocado oil now. Protects your genes. It helps prevent diabetes. And what you want to buy is the USDA organic non-GMO. So you're looking for the little butterfly as well as the logo that says USDA organic, pure avocado oil. Avocado oil helps to prevent your DNA, your genes, because again, it is rich in the antioxidants. So whenever you see a package with antioxidants, say, yay, that's going to protect my genes, my DNA. And this is high in vitamin C and vitamin E, as well as the minerals, potassium and magnesium. So in addition to being heart healthy, avocado helps to prevent cancer. It protects your DNA. Now, the amazing thing about avocado oil is that it contains methylfolate. And you remember we talked about methylfolate a few weeks ago or last month. And we said that methylfolate, which is vitamin D9, along with pyridoxine, but especially that methylfolate, is required to produce the nucleic acids found in your deoxyribonucleic acid. And see that word DNA? It has that root word nucleic. So methylfolate, which is vitamin B, helps to produce your DNA and your RNA. And these make up your genetic material. So that's the added addition to eating avocado oil, is because you're getting the methylfolate, which is a type of vitamin B. And we know we have 8 components of vitamin B. So when women are pregnant, it's good. It's usually part of their prenatal vitamin to have in it folic acid, because it helps prevent congenital spinal cord birth defects in pregnant women. So not only does it protect our DNA, but it also helps to prevent spinal cord defects in the fetus in pregnant women. Olive oil is high in dietary fiber. So this is what helps to regulate our blood sugar, to keep our blood sugar. And we know in this country, there is an epidemic. At least 2/3 of people in this country, adults in this country, have adult onset diabetes, which is type 2 diabetes. And so to be cooking with this, you're going to help to prevent the onset of diabetes when you use avocado oil as your main oil for cooking. This is the one that I recommend for cooking, especially with high heat. And we said olive oil is for your dressings. It's something just to add, or even you can just take that. But I will use this to cook with high heat, as well as to add this to my foods, like my greens or my salads too, just like I do olive oil. Use it as a dressing, because it has so many awesome properties. The nutrients in this oil, in addition to the unsaturated fats for heart health, it's just a total win-win situation to use this as your cooking, as one of your cooking oils.
Nice. It's good. You know what? It's good to know that, because a lot of times you don't really realize, when a lot of times people just go and get oil and won't necessarily be looking for specific oil. So I'm glad that we're talking about these today, because I think this can be a real game changer for people, even knowing that there's such a variety, and then how all of the different varieties interact with the body, what they protect and what they provide to us. So this is good. You ready for the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, so Sesame oil. This is another heart-healthy plant-based fat. And it's contained in sesame oil. So far we have olive oil, avocado oil, and sesame oil. Now, sesame oil is another oil. Not only is it heart healthy, but it helps prevent diabetes. And not only that, it helps to reduce the peripheral arterial disease, which is called PAD. In other words, poor blood circulation and pain in the legs. And a lot of people will experience that because of heart issues, arteries that are clogged up from eating bad fats. And that would, we're going to talk more about that, but bad fats are usually found in animal fats because they contain more saturated fat and cholesterol. And so by using sesame oil, but sesame oil is a low medium heat cooking oil. So again, it's like for sauteing salads and dressings. You just drizzle a little of that over your food after you have prepared it, and it's going to help to prevent diabetes. And again, in this country, that's an epidemic. Obesity and diabetes is an epidemic. So remembering sesame oil. It's also a natural cure of anemia. You'll find a lot of people who are anemic. And so with the sesame oil, and I would say the same amount, 3 to 4 tablespoons daily in adults.
Okay, good. You guys are making notes. I hope you're making notes.
Okay, grape seed oil also protects our DNA. Now, the thing about grape seed oil, and I learned this from experience myself, because I was like, yay, grape seed oil. It's one of those high heat cooking oils. But a lot of grapeseed oil is not cold pressed. So now when you buy grapeseed oil, in addition to looking for the little butterfly logo and the USDA, you're going to have to make sure it says on the front of the container, expeller pressed, which means cold press. In other words, they're not using hexane as a solvent to extract the oil from the grape seeds. And a lot of companies will use the grapes for the wine, then they'll take the seeds to make the oil, but they're using hexane. They're putting hexane as a solvent to extract the oil from these seeds. You don't want that. You want to make sure it's cold pressed or expeller pressed grapeseed oil.
Love it. Okay.
Okay, so heart healthy plant-based cooking oil. Another one is in flax. And flaxseed is another ancient plant that has been around for thousands and thousands of years. It is a low heat cooking oil. So again, we only have so far 2 high heat cooking oils, avocado oil and grapeseed. And I'm a little bit more biased toward avocado because it protects the DNA. It helps to prevent diabetes. Grapeseed is an antioxidant. Grapeseed contains omega-3, I'm sorry, we're on flax. Okay, so flaxseed is a low heat cooking oil. And it contains the unsaturated fats. It contains polyunsaturated fat and monounsaturated fat. Therefore, it's a heart healthy, because the unsaturated fats, what they will do is they will increase your good cholesterol, which is your high density lipoproteins, decrease the low density lipoproteins by absorbing the low density lipoproteins, transporting them to the liver where they are flushed out of the body. And so flaxseed oil will help to prevent heart disease and stroke. Flaxseed oil also contains omega-3 fatty acids. And you've heard of omega-3 fatty acids in fish, where what it will do It will help to lower triglycerol levels, which is bad fat in the blood. Triglycerol levels sometimes come from consuming too much alcohol, or eating bad carbohydrates that contain sugar. So flaxseed oil is a good, healthy oil. However, in people who are pregnant, they should not cook with flaxseed oil, and there's a flaxseed supplement that you need that they need to stay away from. This is in people who are pregnant, mothers who are pregnant or breastfeeding. And this is because Mayo Clinic found out that the plant estrogen that's in flax contains a plant estrogen called lignin, and lignin causes premature births in pregnant women. So with this flax cooking oil, if you're pregnant, stay away from it. It's great if you're not, because it helps to inhibit the growth of prostate cancer, colon cancer, and breast cancer, even with the supplements. You can take the supplement with lignin for females who want to protect their breasts, and without lignin for males, but it will help prevent colon cancer as well as breast cancers. And the other thing about it, it's a blood thinner. So if you're a vegan and you don't want to eat fish oils, then flaxseed oil or flaxseed supplement would be a wonderful natural blood thinner, because it contains omega-3 fatty acids, which helps to thin out the blood, preventing blood clots, lowers your blood pressure, help to prevent irregular heartbeats. But again, you want to make sure it's cold press, expeller press, unrefined flaxseed cooking oil.
I'm making notes, Dr. Joyce. There's lots of things that I'm gonna know now when I go to Sprouts. All right.
Okay, so just to sum these up, we've talked about virgin olive oil, pure avocado oil, unrefined sesame oil, which helps to prevent diabetes, as well as the avocado oil helps to lower the blood sugar level. Those two are great for preventing diabetes. The avocado oil you could use with high temperatures. The grape seed oil, it must be expeller pressed or cold pressed, which means it doesn't contain hexane. And then we have also the flaxseed oil, and stay away from flaxseed oil and the flaxseed supplements if you are pregnant or if you are breastfeeding. All 5 of these are healthy plant-based oils. Now, the 2 that you can use to cook with high temperatures would be your pure avocado oil and your grapeseed oil. The others, low temperature. So if you use high temperature, you're going to transform the nature of that oil, and it could be a bad oil if you use high temperature with the extra virgin olive oil or your sesame oil, or the flaxseed oil. And all of these oils contain monounsaturated fat and polyunsaturated fat. And so what you're going to look for on the nutrition facts when you're reading is that your saturated fat is going to maybe have some saturated fat, but you want to make sure it's less than 2.5 milligrams of the saturated fat, and more of the unsaturated fat, mono or polyunsaturated fat. And what the unsaturated fat will do, the monounsaturated and the polyunsaturated fat, it will boost your good high density lipoproteins, the HDL, high means good, cholesterol, that absorbs the bad low density lipoprotein, that's LDL cholesterol. And we said it transported to the liver, where it can be flushed out of the body, keeping your heart healthy, keeping your arteries from being clogged. and causing heart attacks and strokes.
No, this is good, Dr. Joyce. Dr. Joyce, there's always a lot of buzz going around keto and high fat diets. Do you have a perspective from a medical point of view? Do you have any things that you'd like to share that we want to make sure that we provide notes to people?
You know what? I think the next couple of slides we're gonna mention about the fat. Okay.
All right.
And it's coming from wisdom, from the Word of God. So that's gonna be my answer to that.
Okay.
So the virgin coconut oil, and I had mentioned that the virgin coconut oil and palm oil are plant-based oils, but the catcher is they are high in saturated fat. So if you have coconut oil at home and you look at your nutrition facts, you're going to see the saturated fat is going to be like 10 grams of saturated fat.
Right. And that's what we want to be less than that 2.5.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And then the other, I would say like the litmus test. You know, we have a litmus test for fruits and vegetables that are GMO and non-GMO. So you cut it. If you see seeds, then you know, okay, it's good. It's non-GMO. But if you cut a fruit or vegetable and they're supposed to have seeds and they don't have seeds, then that's a GMO. It's been genetically modified. Okay, so with your oils, if they're high saturated fats in the oil, then it's going to become firm or solid at a low temperature. So if you place it in the refrigerator, that coconut oil or palm oil will become solid, okay? Because it's high in saturated fat. And so these fats are not heart healthy. They're not heart healthy because, again, they increase your risk of heart disease, stroke, dementia, and cancer. And according to the American Heart Association, they say that adults should limit their consumption of 1 tablespoon. That means just 2 teaspoons of this virgin coconut oil or palm oil. If you're cooking with it, then you shouldn't consume more than 1 tablespoons of tablespoon a day for adults to protect your heart. And what it can be used for is great for body oil. It's great for dry skin. And coconut oil is great as a deep condition for hair.
Yeah. No, Dr. Joyce, this is one of those boom moments because a lot of people use coconut oil, and not really realizing or paying attention to, or just the lack of awareness sometimes in, you know what, hey, it's a good tasting oil.
Yeah.
It's flavorful, but didn't really realize about that saturated fat that it includes. And we know that our coconut oil, it does get solid. It gets solid in the refrigerator and the can. It's not, so that is so good. All right, you guys, here's another touch point. Something you've learned today. Coconut oil, be mindful of it, but there's so many options. There's so many options in the seed oils. We provided 5 other oils that you can use.
And with the baking, avocado oil, it provides that rich, moist taste to your cakes. And a lot of people were using, instead of using animal fat, they were using coconut oil. And coconut oil, again, you can only use 1 tablespoon a day according to the Heart Association. And if you have coconut milk, you have to stay under a third of a cup a day to protect your heart. So,
woo, we learning, y'all. We learning. Oh, I love it, Dr. Joyce. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Praise God. Okay, so you remember what we said? Trans fat should always be 0. Always 0 grams. They found out that in New York, there was an increased incident of heart attacks. And in Denmark, when they were using this trans fat. What trans fat is, the primary source of it is hydrogenated vegetable oil. So what they would do is they would take a genetically modified vegetable oil and they would bring it to a high temperature. Then they would put in the hydrogen. So that's why it's called hydrogenated.
Ah.
So whenever they put in the hydrogen into the vegetable oil, it made it like a whip, like you would see with lard. So they said, oh, this would be great for baking, for bread and cookies and cakes and things, because it was like a whip lard. But the body did not know how to absorb and get this out of the bloodstream. So it became like plaster on the arteries. It would actually clog the arteries, narrow the arteries, restrict the arteries. And like I said, in New York and in Denmark first, they banned trans fat in 2003. And then in New York, I believe it was around 2006 when trans fat was banned. And they noticed once they banned trans fat, then the number of people with heart attacks went down and stroke decreased. So the other thing that I want you to keep in mind now, when you are looking under the ingredients list, and always read not only your nutrition facts, but look at your ingredient list. If it ever says hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated oils, like they may say hydrogenated canola oil or partially hydrogenated, that means trans fat. Even though they may say 0 trans fat in the nutrition, if the ingredient list says anything about hydrogenated, stay away from it.
Stay away from it. Hydrogenated is out.
Yes. Okay, avoid eating animal fat. Now, this was your question, Mrs. Michelle. I think your question about ketos, and what was that question again?
I was asking about the like the buzz around keto and high fat diets. Like they'll say, make sure that you get more fat into your diet. And so I was asking for your take from a medical perspective on people in high fat diets.
Yeah. Okay. And I had a cousin to ask me about that, because she said her blood sugar was high and her doctor had recommended that she just eat meat. Okay. So Leviticus 3:17, and this is the word of God, the one who created us and our bodies and everything in this universe. This shall be a perpetual statute throughout your generation and all your dwellings. You shall eat neither animal fat nor blood. So God's words are instructions and not suggestions. Animal fat causes fatty plaque buildup on the walls of the blood vessels. Animal fat can narrow blood vessels and reduce or restrict blood flow to the heart and brain, causing heart attack and stroke. So when you're looking at your nutrition facts, and you'll see it on meat, you'll always see some cholesterol. Whether it's chicken, pork, beef, fish, it's going to have cholesterol because that makes up the animal fat. That's how they get energy. That's how their muscles are made, by a certain amount of fat ingrained into their muscles. So if you're going to eat steak, trim off the fat. If you're going to eat chicken, stay away from the parts that contain most of the fat. Trim off the fat. And of course, we're not eating blood, so you need to cook well your food. You're going to eat animal fat, animal, flesh.
Yes. Oh, wow. Okay, this is good.
Okay. So just high triglycerides. We mentioned high triglycerides levels as being bad fat in the blood, and it can contribute to fatty buildups in the arteries, potentially leading to heart attacks or stroke. So how do you want to avoid high triglycerides levels? Avoid excessive alcohol consumption, high carbohydrate diets with added sugars, obesity and adult onset diabetes. Your triglyceride levels might get high. A lack of exercise, thyroid, kidney, and liver disease. All of these can contribute to high triglycerides levels or bad fat.
Bad fat in the blood. Okay. No, that's good stuff to know.
Okay, so keep these bad genetically modified organism vegetable oils out of your diet. Now we know that most of the corn crops, the soybean crops, sunflower, safflower, canola, these crops were genetically modified back in 1994. So definitely you want to look for USDA and the logo non-GMO verified with the little butterfly when you purchase these oils. That's what you definitely want to look for to make sure you're not getting genetically modified organism in your corn oil, your soybean oil, your canola oil, your sunflower oil, safflower oil, and salad dressings. And then you want to look under the ingredients list to see if it reads contain bioengineered ingredients. If it says contain bioengineered ingredients, that means that you're getting genetically modified organism, and that you want to stay away from, because this is related to GMO. These GMO oils are related to heart disease, stroke, sterility, infertility, immune suppression, and they can alter your DNA bloodline and cause many other diseases.
Yeah. Woo! Dr. Joyce, I'm looking for the USDA organic and the non-GMO foods.
Yes, yeah. We're going to start with that. And then we're going to also read the nutrition labels and the ingredient list and look under the ingredient list. So now, you know, it's sad, but you just cannot go to the store and grab anything and purchase anything and eat anything because our food has been contaminated.
Yeah. Wow. Dr. Joyce, always something that we are going to take home with us that we have learned anytime you come on. I want to thank you for sharing with us today, making sure that we are using the right oils. You know, you just don't know. There's many options. So thank you for sharing that with us today. Listening audience, thank you for tuning in. And if you have questions for us, if you have things you want to know that you want Dr. Joyce to answer back here, definitely let us know. Send those in. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this podcast with someone else that you know that who also needs to or wants to make healthy happen in 2025. Until next month, we will see you again. God bless.
God bless you. Thank you.